Hello, everyone. Today is the 6th of December, and originally I recorded a video. I'm not going to tell the exact detailed topic, but it had to do with the Daily Wire and Pendragon cycle, but mostly the Daily Wire. Moments ago, I decided to just randomly search something about this topic, with the Pendragon cycle, and I came across some snarky Reddit comments, and I chose to walk in the lion's den. My fault. But still, I was really intrigued by the information. But still, I've read some of the comments, and obviously, it's what you would expect. A lot of snarky comments, a lot of people judging the show harshly, saying it looks horrible. But I guarantee you that they would have never said that if it was not coming from the Daily Wire. These guys are being majorly influenced by politics, and that's just the problem. Now, here's the thing. I also wish that the Daily Wire had a separate streaming service to put this on, because going on Daily Wire Plus obviously it's mostly political, and even if you don't engage in the political stuff, it's still going to be a thing. Now, if this came out on you could say, if this came out on CNN Plus or whatever, I don't know if they still have that website. If that came out there, let's just say, you won't really see a lot of people complain unless it's the anti-SJWs. That's just it. Everyone else won't complain. They will be watching it. You would have like reviews of it. You would have people do like deep dives of it and stuff like that. You would see people give it a respectable audience. Unfortunately, when it comes to stuff coming from our side, we won't get that. And that's because for years we have been lagging behind culture. So now, even when we want to do something sophisticated like the Pendragon cycle adaptation, we're going to be told, oh, it's political. And it's coming from the Daily Wire, so a lot of people are going to assume it's going to be like Mr. Bertram or Lady Ballers. Okay, that's obviously not true. It's not the same. And let me just say that if the Daily Wire wanted to make more culture war stuff, they would have made 10 sequels by now to Lady Ballers. This is high art, and the reason why Jeremy Boring made this is because he grew up with this series. He's also a director from Hollywood. And I know that there is this pejorative that a lot of people have against some conservative folk who happen to be like actors or directors or folk from theater or whatever. They always say, oh, they're failed theater kids, or they're failed actors and actresses and stuff like that, or they're just doing this to get back at Hollywood. But I have to point out that Hollywood right now isn't really doing so well. So I don't really think you should be calling other people failures when, you know, yeah, like just look at the numbers of Hollywood. That's all I'm saying. Now, here's the thing about Hollywood. They can be political. They can engage in the culture war without even calling themselves culture warriors. Anytime when we do something, it would be immediately dismissed as culture war stuff. It can be the most beautiful piece of artwork out there, apolitical. People will still dismiss it as culture war stuff. Now, here's the thing. I've said this before. We don't only have to make own the libs type of content, because that can have its small little place somewhere. But if we only focus on that, we are not focusing on everything else. Not everything has to be a middle finger to the libs. Not everything has to be about owning the libs. This isn't, the old era where you can just like only make that type of content. I mean, you can make that type of content, but it shouldn't be the only type of content we make. And for every political show, we have to make like 10 non-political shows and movies, because we need just apolitical stuff. And also, we need to stop waiting for permission. Razorfist said this. Other people have said this as well. Just do it. Just do it. Anyways, back to Reddit. A lot of snarky stuff, and at the end of the day, what can we do? But I would say, look at these comments and say, okay, from the critical lens, I can understand what they're saying. Of course, they have their biases. They're not going to engage with us, but plenty of normies are going to engage with Daily Wire Plus just to see this show and whatever other shows they could make. So the thing is that, we should be focusing on trying, for the entertainment side of things, to not be so alienating, just be very, very, you could say, trying to reach out to people and make some good entertainment. And I feel like if Daily Wire makes a separate streamer, just a complete separate streamer to focus on all types of entertainment for all ages. And of course they have their limitations, yes, I know, but for all ages, that would be phenomenal. Because then obviously I don't know what's going to be the plan for like buying all of these streaming services in the future, like paying for it monthly, if you're going to have packages or not. But at the end of the day, it's like if Daily Wire makes their own, it's going to be much interesting. Then they can focus on entertainment and they can make some fantastic works of art. Now, I feel really bad for all the people who worked on this project only to see it be crapped on by a bunch of a bunch of snarky folk who obviously would be so defensive with the show if it came from a different platform. Just saying, this came from CNN Plus or whatever other news organization. If MSN something, I don't know if they call themselves MSNBC anymore, but if they dropped this show, obviously it would not look like this, but let's just say if they dropped it, a lot of people would be engaging in it. That's the sad truth, and it's so unfortunate. It's like we have to do so much, but still we have to keep climbing that ladder. Hopefully, hopefully, conservative entertainment gets to blossom and respect the source material. By the way, okay, you know what? I was going to say something about more Stephen R. Lawhead adaptations. I think I mentioned it earlier on, but um, not just Stephen R. Lawhead, but also just other conservative authors out there adapt their work. Also, why not check out Orson Scott Card? Because he was on Ben Shapiro's show 5 years ago. I'm sure he has a bunch of work that could be sold to the Daily Wire for them to work on an adaptation. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. Bye bye.